Hello everyone! Welcome to From the Heart Friday with me, Jessica Brigden of Jess Creative Cardiology. We are here today for session 50 of my From the Heart Friday series. I'm so excited. It's awesome to see how it's developed and grown, and I'm glad that you've been along on the journey with me. Hey Doris, you got me right at 3. Awesome. Today is an absolutely beautiful day here in upstate New York. It's so beautiful. The sky is clear and blue. It's not too hot. There's a nice breeze. You could probably hear it in the background, the kind of the breeze rustling through the trees. I ate my lunch outside on the back deck this afternoon and watched Ziggy run around the yard chasing chipmunks and things, and then I closed my eyes for a minute and I was like, oh, so relaxing. And I had to be careful because I almost fell asleep. And if that was the case, I'd probably still be sleeping. I am not a 10-minute napper. If I'm down for a nap, I'm out for a good hour or two. Hey, Mary Jo. Hey, Nancy. So today I thought I would play with the World of Good suite. That's perfect, right? I mean, the world is in quite a turmoil right now. We could use some more good, some extra love and kindness. Hey, Janelle. So the whole suite is in the catalog. The stamp set is called Beautiful World, and I absolutely love the script of these fonts. It's beautiful. It's great for really any occasion. It's a little bit more masculine, so perhaps you have a special someone you want to recognize, or I was thinking even with some of these like adventure things like that, be perfect for graduation or even retirement. Aw, hey Carol, hey Rachel. Nice, so we've got quite a few viewers here going on right now. Yeah, so I really like this. I think it's really versatile, and it's nice to have some neutral colors to work with. They pair well with so many different things. So I've got 2 cards for you today. The first one I'm going to demo is the one that was my contribution to the Demo Design Dream Team. That is the tutorial bundle group that I am a part of. And so I'm going to show you which card is mine in that tutorial. And then anyone who places an order with me in June here will actually receive all 16, that whole tutorial bundle. And then you'll know which card's mine. And then one of the other projects I'm going to show, just another alternate idea using the same suite, to showcase some different things. But that is a card that I've been using for some of my virtual workshops as well as my open house this month. So if you weren't able to catch the virtual launch party last Friday, well, I'll show you the card today. All right, so I'm going to flip around here, so stay with me. So there's the fun part, right? Okay, so we'll do that. And then we will rearrange our lighting. There we go. All right, so I hope everybody is doing well here today. Oh, Nancy said it was kind of rainy out in Wisconsin, but I'm glad we are having some good weather today. We actually need some rain. Things are getting really dry, which is a little surprising because it was so cold and wet through most of May. And now it doesn't look like we have any rain in the forecast for at least another week. Hey, Nikki. Hey, Gladdy. All right. Hey, Luann. Nice. Okay, so World of Good Suite includes the Beautiful World stamp set. It includes this awesome old world paper 3D embossing folder. And it includes the World of Good specialty designer series paper. There's some brass foil, all kinds of really cool. There's these really neat antique sliders. Luann, that's okay. You missed me Tuesday. You can go back on the replays there on YouTube. I'm really pleased. That was fun to do my first YouTube live on Tuesday. So I think it's great. Now I can connect with you guys both on Tuesday and Friday. Yeah, so aren't these cool? They're like, kind of reminds me of my grandmother's photo albums and things like that with these little photo corners, but these are little brass elements. So I'll show you how to use those. We're going to use them today. All right. So there's so many different patterns in this paper, kind of reminiscent of maps and like, I love this. We're going to use this one. This is kind of like handwriting and things, perhaps like parchment. Yeah, so some really cool designs in here and things. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the first one. So what I'm going to start with is a half sheet of crumb cake cardstock. Let me see. I'm going to move this camera up. I feel like you're maybe not getting quite the visual. Oops. Something's moving on me. All right. So I'll have to just make sure I keep things in the view. Okay. So this is half sheet of crumb cake, 5.5 by 8.5. We're going to go ahead. Oh, you said Luann says she already watched my Tuesday video. All right. Thank you. So we're scoring that there at the 4.25 mark. Now I'm going to make this a horizontal, a landscape card. My next layer is a piece of early espresso. So I've cut this to 4 by 5.25, so it's just 1/4 inch smaller. And I am breaking in my new Stampin' seal. This replaced our snail. It does, you kind of do need to get it going a little bit. And then it's got a super good stick. So I think it might be running out because I've been using it a ton here. All right, make sure we've got it good and everything. So we're doing 4 by 5.25 on this. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and stick that down. Now the next layer, and actually I think I'm gonna cut this in half because the design I've prepped, we're gonna do a little overlapping. So this, again, this piece is 3 3/4, but instead of cutting it at 5, I'm gonna cut it at 2.5 here. Okay, so you get more bang for your, stretch your supplies a little bit further. And this is gonna go just on the right-hand portion of the card. And then I'm going to use, for this particular one, this "You Make the World a Better Place" sentiment. Really love that. Now these are red rubber cling here. All right, so I'll start with that. Get out my block. And I'm using early espresso ink. I had to find my ink pad here. All right, so before I glue this on, I'm gonna go ahead and, oh yeah, my pad's nice and juicy. Stamp this kind of right in the center. Yay, nice. All right, so we've got that so far. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna just check my tape here real quick. There is just a little bit of a learning curve to it. It is a little bit more like the fast fuse, but so far so good. It holds really well. I do like the grip of it. I like the size. It's bigger. Hey, Diana. Hey, Bonnie. Oh, you love hearing the birds. Yes, they are quite noisy. We were on a Zoom call the other night, and the birds, I don't know if like a crow was bothering the robins or I don't know what was going on, but man, the birds were creating such a ruckus that we actually had to close our windows just so that we could hear our Zoom because they were disturbing us. But I would much prefer to hear the birds than traffic noises, so I'm good with that. All right, so for this next half, I've cut a piece of our new in color cinnamon cider. Hey, Bonnie. So this piece, all right, so I think I told you this one is 2.5 by 5. Yes, and then this one is also, I cut this a little bit wider, so this is 3 inches by 5. And this is one of the new dynamic embossing folders. Oh, Luann says her resident robin started chirping at 3:30 yesterday. Oh my goodness. I honestly don't know. I know ours start to chirp before the sun comes up, but I'm not up then. And I think I'm just so used to it that I sleep right through it. I'm a pretty good sleeper. Okay, so I've put this piece of cinnamon cider in here. I've lined it right up with this nice little line across the front, just so I make sure although it really, with this being like a crinkle background, it really doesn't matter if it's in there straight. But if you have your regular Big Shot, this is just the base platform, no tabs. Putting the embossing folder in there. Make sure you put your fold part going in, and then I am using the blue adapter plate. All right, hopefully you have one of these. If you don't, hopefully Stampin' Up! Will be making it available soon because they will be selling it to go along with their new machine. But again, right now we don't have a current release date for that. We're just hoping soon. Okay, so isn't that cool? It's really kind of neat. You can do either side. And what I'm going to do is distress it just a little bit further. So I'm going to grab right up here, maybe about 1/4 inch, and I am just going to tear it because after all, this is old world, right? So this is supposed to look like, it's survived a stormy shipwreck or something. All right, so just torn that a little bit. You can even rough it up a little bit more with your fingernail, kind of going back to some of our older techniques a little bit. And then we'll put the adhesive here on the back. All right, make sure that's 1/4 inch on each side. And then, yes, that nicely overlaps our script here in the middle. Am I going to ink the edge? Not on this one. No, because the only dauber I have handy is Coastal Cabana. I don't think that's gonna work. So I'm gonna just leave it like this. But yeah, we could ink the edge if you wanted to right down here. But as you guys know from my unboxing video of all the amazing things that I ordered from this new catalog, I forgot to include the new in color ink pads. So if I were going to sponge this, I would prefer to use the cinnamon cider. You could go a little more like the soft suede would probably work good. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as is. And until my new ink pads come in here. All right, so we are going to use, we've got Old World, we've got script. So I want to use the feather quill here with the inkwell, and then we'll use one of these little curly Q things. And then we'll tie in our antique corners and slides. All right, so I need the feather and the inkwell, my little curly Q here. Whoops. All right, so I've got my itty bitty blocks for these. I knew I better get one for each so I don't lose it on my surface here. And then I'm gonna grab my middle block here for that one. And then you can see I've got a scrap of Very Vanilla here. Hey, let me see, Sherry. Okay, from the name there, I was like, okay, there's like 3 names listed. Thank you for watching today. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do, because there are amazing die cuts that match in here. All right, so let me try not to stick this in my ink pad. I'll pull out the feather, and we're gonna use this little inkwell. I'm gonna stick those on top of my hostess code. Try not to lose them. And I'm gonna stamp them on a scrap and then run these through the die cut machine. So for the inkwell here, I'm gonna use just a little bit of early espresso. And then for the feather, I am gonna use soft suede. I kind of think it makes a neat little contrast. And I like that. So we'll stick that right on here. I can die cut them both at the same time. Oh, yeah. All right. So Krista is watching and she's tagging her friend. All right, wonderful. I got it now. All right, so I'm grabbing my Big Shot here with my platform. Got my dies. So I'm gonna just stick these on here. Yep, I got my magnetic, so I gotta make sure I get it where I want them to go. A little inkwell. All right, so that's good. We'll run this through. Do a little snap, crackle, pop. Okay, perfect. We've got these now. All right, got our little pieces. Now I'm going to, let me step out. We're gonna use some dimensional on these. And I can use, I believe, a couple of full size here on my feather. Yeah, I think that'll work. And let's see, I think I can just fit, yep, you can fit a full size dimensional on the back of the little inkwell too. Okay, so we're going to position these on our little piece of very vanilla. So I went with vanilla because I wanted more of a antique-y look. So this piece is 2 inches by 3 inches. So tiny little piece here. You know what, before I stick everything, usually we'll like Stampin' everything first, but because I can't stamp my little curly Q until I know exactly where my feather pen is going to be, and those are already stamped with dimensionals, I'm actually going to put this piece on the card base first. And we're going to just be careful. All right, so I want my feather kind of going across the card like in writing position. We'll put our inkwell here, so the feather's in the ink. All right, now you're gonna see if I can do this. All right, so I've got my early espresso, my little, this is the tinier, there's actually 2 swirly pieces here, and I'm gonna use the smaller one. Okay, so just gently ink that. I don't want a ton, I just want a little bit. And then I'm going to line it up. I'm gonna try not to get it on the embossed, the raised part. I just kind of want it sticking out the edge. Oh, I'm so happy. Came out just like I wanted it to. Yay. Don't you guys love it when you have success like that? Came out just like I wanted it. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab my mini glue dots here, and we're going to use a couple of the corners. And I thought I'd kind of frame this in a little bit. Oops, I got another one up here. So I'm gonna just use 2. I'm gonna do opposite corners. So I've got my little glue dots on there. Oh, Dora says, great job, thank you. Did you clap with me? So I've just put 1 glue dot on each of these and doing opposite corners right down here, kind of framing that piece in. All right, and then these other pieces, these are ribbon slides. So I don't have my suede ribbon here, but I do have a piece of Magenta Madness. So for the ribbon slides, they are pretty flat on one side. Oh, thank you, Rachel. And you can see they do have like a little raised, more of a detailed edging on the front. So we're gonna come up from the back, poke your wrist. So it works really well with the 1/4 inch ribbons. So you come up from the back and then down through the top. Yeah, kind of like a belt. And then your slide can move along. You can adjust it, put it on a card front. Let me see, I've got one. I have a card in progress that I haven't finished, but you can see I used a couple different patterns from the World of Good designer series paper. I did use the early espresso ribbon on here, and then I pulled it through the slide. I just tacked the ends behind, and that way I can move this kind of wherever I want. I just haven't figured out quite what I want to put on the front yet. So that is a work in progress. Sometimes I have an idea and I kind of get it started and then I have to think about it for a little bit. All right, so yeah, so this is the card that I had designed for the tutorial bundle that I'm offering this month. So I really like that. I like the vintage kind of antique look with the script on the paper. I've tried to read it and so far it just looks like scripty handwriting. You can't actually tell the letters all together. Okay, so that's the first one. Oh, thank you, Nancy. Yes, the book. I do like those ribbon sliders. I do think they're pretty cool. And just a note, because if you have not ordered any of this suite already, if you watch my video and I inspire you and you go to order it, don't panic. Some of the elements of the suite, at least in the US, some of the elements are on back order. But I just checked the inventory report before I went live. I wanted to make sure I gave you accurate information, and all of the back-ordered pieces are scheduled to be restocked by the end of the month. So they will be restocked here in June. So don't worry, we're halfway through the month, so at most they'd be back-ordered a week or two. So I think we can wait that long, and at least if you order now, then you get yourself in line so that yours would be the first to ship when the stock comes in. So anyways, I just thought I'd let you know that because sometimes people say, oh, but I just went and it says it's back ordered, and that's okay. You can still order the suite. You can still order everything. And then when those pieces come in, then you'll get your order. Okay, so the second card uses another color. So this paper pack has some really interesting color combinations in it. So it got basic black, bumblebee, cinnamon cider, crumb cake, early espresso, misty moonlight is the blue, mossy meadow, and then whisper white, although very vanilla, and crumb cake are two neutrals that go with it really well too. Oh, thanks, Diane. Yes. All right, so this time I'm using misty moonlight, so we're definitely using our in colors here. Again, our card base is 5.5 by 8.5. Go ahead and fold that here at the 4 1/4 mark. This card as well. So we're doing 2 landscape cards today. And the pattern I have chose for this is this. If I do that, can you see the brass foil in that? I really liked this map designs. And let's see if we can figure out. All right. I can't quite tell. Oh, so it says Netherlands across there. Whenever I look at this, I try to figure out which part of the world we're putting on our card. And also, when you're working with this, make sure that your letters, your words, because these are actual cities, are right side up. That is the thing. So what I'm going to start out with, this is just a 4x4 piece of designer series paper. So you can, a little bit goes a long way here. And I'm putting adhesive, just 2 little strips along the side, because with this taking up most of the card, I didn't want to put a full sheet of early espresso behind it because that would kind of be a waste. So I've cut 2 3.5-inch strips. These are like 0.75 by 3. Okay, so they're just, and it really doesn't matter what width you make your strips, as long as they're about the 3.5-inch long. And then you're going to take this, hold this in place, and I only want about 1/4 of an inch to show. So just make sure how your spacing is at the top and the bottom. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing on here. Just make sure you got about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, you can always adjust it a little bit before you really stick it in place. All right, they're not quite spaced. This one needs to come in just a little bit closer. There we go. All right, now our sides look even. Okay, so now we've got that in place, we can actually go ahead and put our adhesive on here all the way around this time. All right. And this is gonna go right in the center. So you have about a 1/2 inch on the left and the right and 1/4 of an inch on the top and bottom. Yes, okay, here we go. Now I've used the other die cuts in here. So what's cool is that you do get 2 of these globes. You get a like northern and southern, east and west, so North and South America here, and then Africa and Europe, and they even got Australia over in there a little bit. So I've used these and I've die cut a few with the brass foil. Love how shiny this is. All right, and then I've also used this little piece to hold up our globe holder is what I'm calling it. All right, so I've pre-die cut those, so you don't have to wait for me on that. All right, so I've got these here. So I die cut, and that's the other thing is this little circle. It's about a 1 3/4 inch. Just the solid circle also comes in these dies. So I cut that out of Just Jade. It turns out I've got North America and South America here with our brass. And then my little holder out of Early Espresso. And there is a right side to this because the front side, the top side, is embossed a little bit. So you have a little extra detailing that you don't get on the back. So for this, you just need a couple of glue dots here. I'm only just placing them right behind the continents, the larger land masses. And because South America is primarily here, let's do a little one down there. Maybe that's Hawaii. No, that's not. Well, it could be. All right, we'll just do that. All right, so we've got a couple little glue dots, and this lays right over top there perfectly. All right, then I'm going to put a little adhesive on the back. Rachel says, yes, this will be going in her order in July. Yes, and I think, let's see here. Oh, and Nancy said she ordered the paper, and the sliders, but not the bundle. Yeah, you need it all. All right, so position this, kind of get a feel for where you want this. I'm gonna angle it a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my globe here. And then we'll use a couple more glue dots on the back. So I'm gonna put one right towards the top. And then let's do the middle. Okay, and then the base. Perfect. All right, now this actually hugs your globe perfectly. Fits so nice together. All right. Now I've cut a little strip. Actually, I don't know about you guys, but I end up with like a whole bag of just like 1-inch strips, you know, that I save because they come in handy for sentiments and things like that. But I have a whole scrap bag here of various widths of paper. So what I need is a 3-inch piece, and I want to cut it so it's about 3/4 of an inch wide. So I'm going to pull out my little mini trimmer because this seemed to be perfect. So I want it 3 inches. So I'm going to do that first. And then 3/4, and it's nice because with this mini trimmer, see this line, bigger line right before the one? So I can line this up in here anywhere. Just make sure I'm using this little grid as my marker. And now that gives me a perfect 3/4 of an inch piece. All right, so these little mini trimmers do come in quite handy. Bonnie says she has a bag just like mine, scrap bag, absolutely. Okay, so this is 3 inches by 0.75. And this time, so you say, well, I cut that piece pretty skinny. What I'm gonna do is just color the adventure with my Stampin' Right marker. Okay, so hopefully I haven't lost that. Here it is. Okay, so the markers are not sold individually. You do need these. This is in the Neutrals collection, and I'm going to use, you can see there's a guide on here. I'm gonna use the Painty the bigger brush tip here and just gently paint onto my stamp, just coloring the adventure part. All right, I'm gonna be careful. I don't want to color the part underneath. And then stamp that somewhere in the center. Straight up. Perfect. Oh, looks like my stamp wasn't totally clean. All right, let me clean it. Paper's got two sides, right? All right, so let me grab, you know what? Let me grab something. I'm gonna just stamp off this a few times, get that out of there. All right, make sure it's not stamping anymore. Let's try this again. Do over. Never happens to you guys, right? Okay. Let's try this one more time. Yay! All right. Love it. Came out just like I wanted. Now on the Yuki side, I'm going to put my adhesive right across the back. Hey, Kim. All right, and then I've cut a piece, oh, what is this? It's like a 4.5-inch strip of Misty Moonlight ribbon. I'm just gonna lay that across the back. Then I'm gonna come in with my dimensionals and put them on here to hold this in place. All right, 1, 2, peel the little backings off. Now I can bring this in. So I'm gonna position this right across the center. There we go. Now if I need to, so I'm gonna just trim this just a little bit, just a smidge. I think I want them going the same direction, so there we go. Alrighty, so it's coming together. And then I wanted to accent. It needs it's a little too plain. Needed just a little something there. So I'm pulling in my in color enamel dots. And so you do need to be a little bit careful when you are using these to make sure that you get the colored. What it is they're like a clear dome over top of a color, like a color swatch. And I just showed you what not to do, because see what happens if you don't get it quite on there, you can actually pull the dome off of the dot. That's okay, we can fix that. We'll just put a glue dot in between it. So you do wanna make sure you get underneath the whole thing, okay? Because that way you can just place it like so onto your card. And for the one I messed up, well, I'm going to very gently use a mini dot and kind of trim that, because waste not, want not, right? So anyways, we'll modify that and I can salvage it. But that was just a tip to be careful, be gentle with those. But yeah, so I think it's kind of fun. You could use cinnamon cider up there, that would be cute, or even bumblebee. This is all I've got left. So as soon as I can get more, then I will, but love those little dots too. But yeah, just a couple of fun things here with the World of Good product suite. Love that all the different elements in there, the brass foil and the fun dots, and even these like antique-y elements and the antiqued paper too. Oh, thank you guys. I'm glad you love the cards. I thought it was fun, just like two very different looks using the same suite. Aw, thank you so much. If you guys need anything, head over to my online store. There's my hostess code for June, and I will send you thank you card as well as the tutorial how to make these cards. All right, all of the supplies, everything I've used today, are in the comments section of the video. So yeah, if you're on Facebook, you can see that once the video is completed. And if you're watching the replay on YouTube, then underneath the video to the right is a little bit of arrow. If you click that, then it opens that whole section down below and you can see all of those details, but I really appreciate you guys watching. I hope you have a wonderful Friday evening, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is in your time zone. Have a great weekend, and thank you so much. So be sure to like and share, and if you're on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up. Love you guys, and we will be seeing you on YouTube on Tuesday. All right, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.